It's Gaz, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So, it looks like everyone in the game gets the Wolf Sledge, and also Wisp's new Augment got buffed. So we're going to be doing a double duty today, a new Wolf Sledge build on the current meta, and also a build with the new Wisp Augment. It's a little bit more put together than what I was just going over yesterday, was just showcasing it. Before we get into this stuff though, make sure you sub this channel to do daily Warframe video uploads. I'll be live on stream tonight with a new Coda weapon store and also some Omniforma bundle giveaways. So come on, stop the live stream if you haven't already. Okay, so the Wolf Sledge event alert thing has come back, and I haven't even played the mission yet, but I do know that everyone's getting this weapon guaranteed. So as far as what the Wolf Sledge weapon is in Warframe, we've got basically a glaive hammer, I guess I'd call it. You can throw this thing out, it will explode. It's got built-in blast damage on the explosion, so we can throw on an electric mod for easy blast electric melee influence, some of the best melee influence there is. Additionally, I might call it a glaive hammer, but it's not exactly like a glaive, so there's some special modding nuances you need to know about if you do want to get the most out of this weapon. Funny enough, when I made my last Wolf Sledge video, there actually weren't any melee galvanized mods in the game, so yeah, this is going to be a lot better now that we have those melee galvanized mods. No riven needed, for sure. Alright, let's hop right into the explanations and stuff. So, as in the background footage, I am using a bit of a buff with Wisp. I've got her attack speed buff from her moats. I've got Arcane Hotshot maxed out with her new Augment, Cataclysmic Gate. And I also have the Panzer Vulpaphyla causing viral procs, and I've got Nourish. So, decent amount of little buffs, and just a heads up, this is not a meta weapon at all. It's a fun weapon, but not a meta weapon. So let's hop into the sim and see what's going on here. Okay, so here we are on the sim, and as far as the things you need to know about the Wolf Sledge, again, it is like a glaive, so we're going to want to throw it at the enemies and detonate it mid-air, if possible. So we hold down the button, the light attack button, we throw the Wolf Sledge, and while it's mid-air, you hit the heavy attack button, and it will detonate wherever you hit it. The Wolf Sledge also has some homing tied to it, so you can throw it normally, it will seek out multiple enemies homing-wise, so pretty good on that regard, pretty good for proccing melee influence. Once you proc melee influence, just detonate it above the enemies, and they're going to all explode and die, and that was with no Nourish, pretty much no buffs right there, so yeah, pretty decent stuff. Now, other things to keep in mind is that for some reason, heavy attack windup speed does not affect that throw right there, but attack speed does. So when we wind this up, that right there is not affected by windup speed, but it is affected by attack speed. So right there, we threw the hammer a lot faster with Wisp mode versus if we didn't have the Wisp mode. So that's something you should keep in mind. Certain things that affect heavy attacks affect it, but not windup speed. Okay. So, and also, what got buffed with Wisp? Wisp, Augment, Cataclysmic Gate for her ulti, now scales with range. I had a crazy range build on yesterday, but ended up sacrificing quite a bit of stuff there in the long run. So, starting off with the Wolf Sledge build, as I said, it does have built-in blast in the explosion, but it has really bad other stats, unfortunately, besides status chance. So we've got 17% crit chance, basically terrible, a decent crit multiplier, pretty high status chance at 33%, and the light attacks have impact, puncture, slash, whereas the explosion is going to be purely blast. So pretty good in that regard too. A 5-meter range, and you cannot run glaive mods that increase the AoE size, sadly. Okay, so here's my 2025 Wolf Sledge build. Now, you might be like, okay, I see 2 galvanized mods, but where's the last one? As I stated, this thing has terrible crit chance. So I do recommend putting a galvanized steel for more crit chance. But if you're okay with it being at 35% crit chance versus 54, you can run galvanized steel, and if you are lucky, it will be more damage technically, but less consistent crits. So if you're using Arcane Hotshot like me, you could totally run galvanized steel if you wanted to. But that being said, more consistent with sacrificial steel in my opinion. So since melee influence is going to proc and spread AoE elemental procs, that's really good for us since we've got only blast electric on the explosion throw, which is the main thing we're caring about here. We've got Galvanized Elementalist on kill will give us increased status chance and also gives us status damage. So that's basically perfect for what we're doing here, especially because normal Elementalist windup speed will not work on this. It would give us 10% more elemental damage, but since we have so much status chance base, getting 120% increased status chance is very, very nice on a build like this. Galvanized Reflex, you don't have to ever worry about combo at all. You basically just get 4 kills, and you're at perma 5x as long as you keep getting those kills over and over again. And with an AoE weapon like this, you can get those kills very easily. Amalgam Organ Shatter probably shouldn't be on here, actually, because I just reminded myself that it does not scale with the wind-up speed, so I'll go for a little bit more crit damage there with normal Organ Shatter over Amalgam Organ Shatter. Prime Smite Grenadier, very good for DOTs, as we are focusing on DOTs. Blast is technically a DOT nowadays. It is buffed by Bane mods quite heavily. And as far as having 2 electric mods on here, it just makes it where we're very likely to proc our electric. We've got 3,000 electric damage and 2,000 blast. We're more likely to proc electric, which is what we want. And thankfully, since we jammed so much status chance with this, we should hopefully be able to proc both of them in a throw. But as long as we get a couple blast procs, that's all we really care about. Now, as far as the build on Wisp, this is going to be a build around her augment that got buffed. Now, it's not entirely focused on it. It's just not exactly the best augment in the game. But the best part about Cataclysmic Gate, to me, is that it causes so many heat procs, it stacks up Arcane Hotshot pretty much instantly. So, Arcane Hotshot will give us 300% crit chance on our Wolf Sledge, which will make it able to orange crit, basically. As far as the rest of the build, since you have to keep Wisp ulti for this build, unfortunately, to use Cataclysmic Gate, I've removed her too. You know, it's not exactly... I don't want to remove any of the abilities, but that's what I chose to remove. And we've got Nourish. This will give us Viral on our weapons, and this also works on Wisp Cataclysmic Gate, hilariously. It does a lot of damage, actually, so good stuff there. I believe it also works on Breach Surge, too. But yeah, big thing here is that we can proc Arcane Hotshot really, really easily. And we also got the Panzer Vulpaphyla, giving us critical damage from Tenacious Bond. No, it actually isn't giving it Tenacious Bond right now because the base assist sometimes... Actually, I take it back. It is working. Okay, sometimes in the sim, these crit stats are all messed up. But yeah, it's got enough crit to give us that Tenacious Bond, hopefully. It says up there the UI it did. Yesterday it didn't in the ship, so who knows? There's definitely some glitches going on in Warframe right now. So let's go ahead and show how this Cataclysmic Gate augment works now that we've got the buffs to it. And we'll show how it works with Nourish. So we got some Elite Heavy Lancers, level 230 Steel Path. Basically a higher level than you'll usually see. And we just drop the Wisp ulti on them. They should all be dead. Yeah, not too bad. So let's upgrade those guys to Heavy Gunners now. Let's see how the Wisp augment's doing nowadays. So we basically went from 10 meters to 14.5 meter radius. And you can get this thing even bigger AoE if you really believe. Let's do another Wisp Sun Drop on these guys. Now, you see, on more armored enemies like this, it is definitely not as OP. You get a couple Viral procs in there, and they eventually will just, you know, chain die. So very, very good stuff. This augment might even be better than the Wolf Sledge, but that's up to personal preference, I'd say. Alright, well, now that we've done that, let's wait for the sun to run out, and we're just going to go ahead and try the Wolf Sledge on these guys without the sun burning them down, basically. So, there we go. So you can actually proc Tennokai very easily with the Wolf Sledge. As long as you wait for the Wolf Sledge to hit and then detonate it, it counts as 2 hits. Something you might notice, though, is that these guys aren't all dead, because the Wolf Sledge does knock enemies around. If you don't actually get the upfront kill, and look at how weak that was there. You can sometimes just not actually secure the kill on these enemies. There's a second throw right there, as you can see. It's very good for group up enemies, whereas the basis would be better for an enemy like that, just like kind of chilling on its own. You are not looking at the most meta weapon in all of Warframe. You're looking at a fun weapon. It's also the only throwing, exploding hammer in the game, so yeah. Now, as far as some other builds you could run on the Wolf Sledge, I would highly recommend that you just stick with melee influence, but maybe you could go for like an exposure build or something like that. It's, you know, again, it's not the most meta. It's a fun option, but what mods not working that work on Glaives kind of does hurt it a little bit at the end. It has a smaller AoE size than things like the Falcor or the Zorus or whatever, even the Glaive Prime for that matter. But it does have a nice chunk of base damage, at least to compare to them. So if we compare the Wolf Sledge, it's got, let's see, it's got 777 damage on the explosion. I compare that to the Falcor. The Falcor has... Okay, the Falcor has double the damage and a Forest Electric proc. So maybe don't compare those two, because that's a little bit of a bad comparison. But yeah, you know, at least you're getting it for free. You know, the Falcor has double the damage and it has Forest Electric and very good ribbons. But maybe it's not as good as like the Path Assist, right? The Infested Lich Path Assist. It's got less than half the damage of the Path Assist. Okay, well, you know, again, you're getting it for free, okay? Can you really complain? I guess you could. I would say it's not really worth using over the meta stuff. I mean, you're going to probably hear that from me in most videos going forward. But if you want to give it a shot, it looks cool. It's a nice fashion frame weapon. It's got some damage to back it up. Throw in a couple buffs, and you're basically using the Glaives. So I'll see you guys in the next video. I appreciate your support. See you on stream tonight. And then you guys have a great time getting that Wolf Sledge. All right, take it easy. Peace.